Alright guys, so today we will watch this video by Shawcat. Don't forget to go visit his channel and his original video.
In this video, I will be attempting to make a horror game in under 24 hours. Horror games might be the most popular choice of genre for indie developers, probably partly due to the success they could find, even if the game is simple. And being a typical stupid dude under the age...
That's right, a horror game makes a better self-marketing in Steam or HIO. The mistakes in horror games are not shown as bad as if they were made in MMORPG or an FPS game, because they do not have much of a very complicated system unless you are making something new, just like Amnesia the Bunker, for example.
25, I want to be successful without actually putting any work to earn it. Henceforth, making a video game in a single day. Also, I have the attention span of a goldfish. Sir, it's your wife. She's suffering from pneumosilico-cybofornic silico-microscopic mega-hemo-mellow-hypofornic hyper-microsilico bipo-blipo-mepo-mapo-frocko-stucky-slacky-wacky fornic silico.
I studied medicine and this is right. Every disease has this very long name.
Stomach bug. The only thing I did before the 24-hour period was plan out what I wanted the game to be. And
that's okay, because it's not a production. This is like pre-production. Even character design and some of the designs that are made in the final production or in the full production process in the game are made in pre-production process. So there's pre-production, then production, then post-production.
the game is simple. You live in a log cabin, and there's a monster in the woods that wants to eat you. He can't get inside, so he will do certain things to sabotage you, like damaging the power box, which shuts off all the lights, forcing you to come outside and fix it. But it's freezing outside, and you must stay warm. There's a fire inside, but the monster will drop snow to put it out, and you must keep it lit. And lastly, the blizzard will occasionally blow the windows open, which will not only keep you from staying warm, but will also create an entrance for the monster to climb into.
Hi, how are you?
If you survive...
This is a very solid game mechanic. It's not bad, and it's good for a simple 30 to 25 minute gameplay.
Till the morning, you win the game. Starting the clock with 24 hours left, the first thing I'm gonna...
You can more specify on the GDD, like draw the map, maybe name all the characters, do all the dialogue. It's okay. The GDD could have a very more complicated structure and much more information about the game.
What I'm gonna do is launch Unreal Engine with the first person template.
Again, Unreal Engine is very good for horror games because it's complicated. Unreal Engine is complicated, but making a horror game is not too... Again, it's according to your scope of this horror game, but like Chalice, for example, is very complicated. Amnesia the Bunker for a AA to AAA title is much very complicated. But if we are talking about simple 25 to 30 minute horror game with simple mechanics, as he mentioned, Unreal Engine could be very good because it shows a good graphics, so it might drag attention from a bit glitchy mechanics.
Since I want this to be a first-person game. So first we need a log cabin, so let me just look through my asset packs real quick. Oh, look at that! A log cabin asset pack. It's almost like I chose the environment by looking through
to try changing on it, like maybe remove all the furniture and do the furniture yourself in a Blender or another assets if you have assets library, because using an asset without also heavy post-processing and changing on it would remove your style from the game, and it might be used by multiple people, so it would quickly look like an asset flip, so be careful of that.
The asset packs I already owned. And I'm just gonna use the pre-made demonstration map because y'all know the famous proverb, Shawcat hates environmental design and also he's bad at it. Oh snap, this map has snowfall, and the door is already interactable.
Yeah, as you see, Unreal Engine makes a very good, amazing graphics quickly.
This game about to be a breeze. Oh, we can't fit. Let's fix up
Yeah. Oh, this is a very big collider for a, for a player. You can make it way more thinner.
the player dimensions and chop this
You can
guy's off.
even make it. I usually make it even more thinner than this, just to tweak according to your tweaking of difficulty. By the way, if you're like making an FPS shooter or something, but for movement, I make it a less more a bit taller because the head is not like here; it's more like here in a human being. So the player would have like because the player would have an illusion that the character is longer when he's looking from the eye. So the camera would be like here, and I would make it thinner.
Arms off. Pulling up our list, the first thing I want to do is have the blizzard blow the windows open, since we don't even have a monster yet. Unfortunately, these window meshes are connected to the frames, making them impossible to even open, so I'll have to pull them into Blender real quick to fix it. A quick little incision here should do the trick. Another successful operation from Dr. Shawcat. In Unreal Engine, I'll use the timeline to control the rotation of the windows in lieu of traditional animation, because something simple like this, it really doesn't make a difference. Here's what it looks like in game. Whoosh. I haven't gotten any sound effects for the game yet, so I'm sure when I'm editing I'll spend
Sound effects and particles are important. Like, see, this animation alone is boring, but if you add like a snow coming from the window and wind effect with a high sound, it would make it look way better. And you can even use Niagara or any other systems in Unreal Engine to make not just particle, but there's some snow here which says about the story more, like the snow is really affecting the objects that are near the window.
Good money on some high quality sound effects to make sure it sounds AAA. Next, I'll use a timer to randomly open these windows every 30 to 60 seconds or so, but to close them, I'll need to create some kind of interaction system. I've made 1,000,001 interaction systems in my life, but that doesn't always mean they're simple. So I might need to stand up for this one.
Interaction systems could be either simple or too much complicated according to your use. Because you can customize them as much as you want. If you customize it and you have all your systems in mind from the beginning, you could make it easier and make the whole system from the beginning. So whenever you do another code, which has, of course, some interaction, it would be easy to implement. So, of course, do it from the beginning, but you need, and one of the most important stuff is to make it customizable and easy scalable, because it would make a lot of mess if you did it like mid-production.
But, when I'm standing up, I can't seem to reach my keyboard. Or can I? Recently, FlexiSpot sent me this Ian 1 mahogany motorized standing desk. You ever hear that saying, sitting is the new smoking? Come along, Billy. I don't want you catching secondhand sit. But then a standing desk also sounds unappealing because you're a lazy game developer who never exercises. You guys know the feeling. Well, then the Ian 1 mahogany motorized standing desk is gonna blow your mind because it's adjustable to both sitting and standing heights. It adjusts pretty fast and quietly too, and it can definitely carry a lot of weight. Plus the machine has pre-programmable buttons that remember your preferred height so you can always get that optimal 90-degree elbow action. The instruction manual did say it requires 2 people to put together, but I'm a big boy and I managed to do it all by myself. In all honesty though, it is important to look after your health.
I never liked the standing desks. They are like a little weird to work with. So I just exercise to cover up the long sitting hours on the desk.
Highly recommend a standing desk to anybody who has a job that requires
But yeah,
computer
it
work
looks solid and it looks like a very good material. So check it out if you like.
for many hours a day. It has so many health benefits like reducing joint pain, better posture, better blood circulation, and it increases your energy and mood.
But of course, it won't like make up for no exercising. You also would need to exercise, jog maybe for an hour or doing bodybuilding or martial arts, whatever you like.
If you decide to make the decision to get one of these, it really increase my energy and mood if you use the link in the description, because you'd get a high quality motorized standing desk with all these health benefits, and I'll get Happiness knowing you made a great decision. Now that I've closed the deal with 90% of my viewers, back to closing these windows. If I make one of these extremely useful blueprint interfaces here, I can easily communicate with any object that I press E on. So if we hit E on our window, we can just make it close and reset the timer for it to get blown back open. I'm just gonna move some of these props around real quick so the windows are more accessible. Okay, now it's a lot easier to get into the position to close these, but we still need our character to freeze when the windows are open or if he goes outside. I want our freeze meter to be something cooler than just a progress bar, so let me yoink a frost texture from online and use it to create a post-process.
Like a frost texture that is increasing its intensity on the player and like make a post-processing effect linked to it, so it's like he gets more dizzy and stuff like that.
This material that increases how much frost is on our screen, and after some quick box collisions to tell if we're outside or not, our screen is getting frosty on the outside and melty on the inside. That's step 4 crossed off the list. Now, you're probably thinking, well, great Canada Simulator, Shawcat, but where's the monster in the thumbnail ad? I clicked on the monster in the thumbnail, I want to see a monster. Well, calm down! Whatever you saw on that thumbnail, I'm making right now. I'm thinking since we're in the woods, well, it will be the woods.
Now that would be the hardest and the most time-consuming things that he would do in his project if it was like 24 hours is the monster. The anime AI is one of the most complicated thing in game development, especially a very good one, because a bad one would make the game suck and a good one would make the game very, very interesting.
Monster should be some sort of cryptid deer creature. And this is an idea I had all by myself because of my genius.
The monster is not the problem of the monster is not the art and animation, to be honest. It's the code of the anime AI usually.
Creative mind. Luckily I own another asset pack that includes a deer, but this little dude isn't scary. This guy is my friend.
You're my friend now. We're having soft tacos later.
In the blender you go, friend. Luckily, this deer is already rigged, so I can just use the bones to morph it into our monster.
Yo.
Now those proportions are nice and cryptid, but I think I can step it up a notch by giving him some teeth. I used a cat for reference, but then I made the teeth extra scrunkly to enforce that extra fear.
You can also make the eyes hollow and maybe make the posture, the main torso a bit weirder, which would make him a bit more weird. It's all about how scary it would be when the player glances at it, not like look at it for a long time.
Here that he's never been to a dentist. And I think I can get this guy looking even creepier by giving him the old Super Mario 64 treatment. And now we've turned our sweet little friend into something of eldritch.
Yeah, see? It looks better. The glowing guys also increase the horror tension of a creature.
But this would look a lot scarier if it was currently nighttime.
Hi, how are you?
So just give me 1 second.
Yeah, you could make him taller. It would be more creepy to see a taller one.
Wow! I'm getting a real big Until Dawn vibe here.
It was just a prank, Han.
Best horror game ever made, I will not be taking questions. I think I'll continue on this environmental design high and add some extra landscape. There's a reason they say Shawcat hates environmental design. I just throw random crap in there.
You need to make the player feel he's not in an empty space. He's like in a mountain or a forest, a full forest, even if there are just a couple of trees and mountains.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
You could also use imposters if you are not using Unreal Engine and want to make a light game. You can use imposter. You can also bake a skybox, like this was used in older games like Dark Souls 3 and stuff. The very far away castles and stuff and mountains could be baked inside the skybox, so it would look like there is a very big world when you look from too far away, but there's literally nothing. So use imposters and bake some details in the skybox.
Like these trees, which I had to grab from a third marketplace asset. Despite the thick forest, it's still pretty obvious.
This is bad for optimization, and yeah, it would obviously look. You can make another terrain behind them, which would cover up the thing and maybe increase the fog a bit.
To see where the terrain ends. So I think I'll approach a retro solution and just add a thick black cylinder to imply that like
No, or you don't need a cylinder. The same train. You put trees behind it, make the train very, very much taller, and change the texture to something like more mountainy.
Light itself can't pass through the thick brush further on. So that's step 1 crossed off. Let's move on to 2, the power box. But there are no lights in our cabin to turn off yet, nor are there lights in the log cabin asset pack, which means I'll have to add in a 4th asset pack just to get some hanging lights into the scene. Can you tell I'm talking through my teeth? This horror hospital pack has the right kind I'm looking for. And I'll just slip those into our cabin. So glad we're finally
Yeah,
done.
see, this makes no sense. This is why you need to keep more work on the GDD. Why there is lights in a wooden, very old made cabinet like this one. It's obviously have no such very complex electrical structure inside it because it's an old house. You maybe make it, if you wrote on the story, he's like going to his cabinet in the forest because he likes like hunting bears maybe or something like that, and cutting off wood. You need to really work on the story better than that, and maybe make him have his own small generator for the lights. This would make more sense than just this thing that's are popping out.
Importing all those high gigabyte assets.
And you do not need to download the whole asset. You just make them in a Blender. If it's like just this light, it's so easy to make.
Packs. Now let's get a power box into our scene.
Also, so many people have a problem with simple shapes in 3D. If you are drawing something or making it in 3D, every single object in this universe is divided into cubes, circles or spheres, and triangles. So a chair is basically just a cube with another cube, and according to the design, maybe 4 cubes. And then when you design the base model, you can add details on. I think I made a course on how to make like things in Blender. You can go check it out. But blocking out the object first, converting it to simple shapes, make the process way, way simpler when you start or want to do something in drawing or in Blender, both.
I've been searching for a while and I can't find a power box, but this storage house asset pack has a generator looking thing and that'll work just fine. If I make the generator into an actor, I can add a function to disable all the lights in the cabin. I'll also toggle the emissive quality of these light bulb materials for a little bit of extra polish. But now our deer creature actually needs to attack this generator. And I think instead of spending a bunch of hard work figuring out how to make this deer hop the fence, I'm just gonna... So let's add a bunch of spawn points, spawn him randomly at one of them, and have him target the generator. Easy peasy lemon pound cake. He looks pretty goofy without animations, and I have no time to make all of them myself, so let's go to every game developer's favorite website, Mixamo. Mixamo allows you to automatically map the current rig to the Mixamo rig, and I'm shocked at how well it worked, considering this is a quadruped animal that I bent, broke, and Frankensteined into an ungodly bipedal malformation of flesh. But it does seem to make the website very laggy, so I'll download the animations real quick off camera and get back to you. Hi, welcome back. As you can see, I have gathered an idle, walking, and a stomp animation for breaking the generator. Any remaining I'll probably have to do myself, but we'll burn those bridges when we get to them. Okay, so we targets the generator, we play the animation, and right on this frame of the animation, we cut the power and he walks back into the woods. We can also repair the box really
and
easily.
you need to use on events. So on this particular frame on the animation, we want to like do an event. Then you call a script. It's a very handy thing to use.
With that interaction system I made, except I'll make it so you have to spam me instead of just press it. So it's like trying to pull a starting cable. You gotta work for it. Alright, big problem though. If the deer doesn't have the ability to kill us, then he's no more than an annoying neighbor who commits destruction of property. I want to go for a very classic Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare where when he kills us, they get all up in your camera and bite your face off. So
Yeah,
for this
that's a very
animation,
good
I'll
jump
have to
scare
blend his
mechanic.
face in Blender. Not too hard, I'm just gonna stretch the neck really good, shake his head a bit with a noise generator, and chomp. And if we just play the animation when we get too close to our deer, game over. Well, I also
but you
realized...
need to work more on post-processing effects. But of course, this for 24 hours is a very amazing thing to do. But post-processing effects will change a lot of it. Like film grain increasing or a vignette more increasing and stuff like that. Colors, maybe the hue of the color is like changing values very fastly.
I forgot to update y'all on the time this has been taking so far, and it might not seem like a lot based on the way I edit this, but it's been about 8 hours of work, and it's getting kind of late, so I'm going to continue this into good morning. It is now day 2, and I started late, so we have about 6 hours left in our 24-hour deadline. And you know what I'm realizing with my refreshed morning mind? This guy is not intimidating. Ever since I said he's like an annoying neighbor, that's all I can really see. When I'm playing, I just kind of want to invite him inside and work out our differences over a nice cup of tea. But I am not British, so I think instead, I'm gonna completely change how everything works, but I need to keep it simple enough to complete my game in the remaining time. So here's the new plan. Instead of an intelligent creature that sabotages you, I'm switching to a creepier, stalking predator vibe for the deer. So instead of the deer breaking the generator, it breaks down randomly because it sucks butts. Instead of the deer putting out the fire, it goes out over time and you have to collect sticks from outside to keep it lit. The deer now wanders the deep woods where he is no harm to you, but will sometimes stalk you in the nearby woods, which it will aggressively chase you if you go outside. And if a window swings open, the deer will attempt to climb into your cabin. I'm pretty sure making the generator random should be super easy because I can just reuse the randomness code I made for the windows flying open. Yeah, that was super easy, so let's fix that AI. I'll add more target points around the windows so we can come up to them when they're open. Very nice, not creepy at all. And if we go outside when he's not in the deep woods, I'll just make him chase you until you're back inside.
Of course, this would, again, see, this frame with heavy post-processing and I think in Unreal it's like changing the camera effects. When I used to work in cinema, it were like the stings of post-processing were in the camera stings. So if you like do a very heavy post-processing on this frame, it would look way scarier than this, and maybe a more fog on the ground or something like that. Maybe a snow going around, and yeah, that would make the game much more scarier, and you could make him a bit faster because fast moving objects are much more scary. And sound of him chasing you is also very important.
Okay, yeah, that's it's a little bit scarier than what we had before. Oh, and you know what might be good? I think I'll add some rotation to his head bone so he's always looking at you directly. Because,
yeah, this is an
pro tip
important
to horror
thing
game
to
developers, there's nothing scarier than eye contact. People ask you what your worst fear is, and you say, oh, you know, the dark, clowns, you know, alligators, but no. Think about when you go to a Starbucks and that cashier's looking you in the eye, they're like staring into your soul and they're like, what do you want? What do you want in your drink? What do you want? And you're just like, And yeah, that's AI pretty much done. It's very simple this way, other than climbing through the windows. That's going to be the hard part. And we have about 3 hours left, so let's make this fire go out real quick. I'll remove this delicious pan of stew so the player doesn't get confused about the purpose of the furnace. And we can fade the fire out over time using the same timer functionality that the windows and the generator uses. And for the visual effect, I'll just fade out the audio, the lights, scale down this fire effect, and reduce the emissive properties of the logs. Yeah! That fire is going out. So yeah, fire goes out and we start to freeze. To give the player incentive to leave the cabin, let's spawn some sticks outside. I don't have any stick models, but I'm kind of tired of importing entire asset packs just for a single model. So I'm just gonna take this pile of logs and... there we go, pile of sticks. I'll make it if we walk over one, it adds one to our character, and then we can use our interaction system on the fire. It removes a stick from our player and adds 30 seconds to the fire's lifespan. Okay, 2 hours left, and we still have to make the scariest part of the game, the deer climbing through your window. That's kind of like the part I've been excited about, but also scared about, which is why I'm procrastinating. There's nothing on mix mode that can be used, so I'm gonna have to make something pretty easy and cheap in Blender, but we don't have a lot of time, so this animation is gonna suck. Okay, if you look at it for more than a second, you can see it's a very poorly made animation, but the players will be too busy screaming their heads off to notice. Also, even though it's not great, it actually took like almost an hour to make, so we only have a little over 60 minutes left. So let me actually play this animation when it approaches the window. Oh, my window blew open. I better close it in this weather. Oh, hello, sir. You must be cold out there. Oh, excuse me, this is private property, and legally you are trespassing. I didn't show myself programming any of it because that's pretty boring to watch, but that actually took the entire remaining hour to set up. So, okay, we've completed the game. Oh, wait, I need to make it so if you survive until morning, you actually win. Okay, we've completed the game. And let me just add a death screen and purchase a bunch of...
That's very nice. The font is good when it says like you died.
Sound effects. Okay, we've completed the game.
Very, very nice thing to do, to be honest. It's a very nice game, very nice mechanics. Also, Unreal Engine using for such a simple game is a good choice because it would, the graphics would cover up many more mistakes than like light processing engines for 3D games. So yeah, it's a very good game. You might, if you want to cover up more and make it more scary, either do very heavy post-processing or make it like PSX style or pixelated 3D style, put like a pixelated shader on all the objects. They cover up the modeling mistakes and the unmatching style of the thing when you are using assets. So that's all for the video. Don't forget to check his channel, and it's a very amazing video. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.